When a dog acts a certain way, the first thing we would look at in Canine Flow is how is the dog's emotional state, or what was the dog's emotional state at the time that that behaviour happened. Most behaviours are situation specific actually, they don't just happen all the time. So take for instance, we've got the dog, imagine this is the shape of the dog. So how is the dog at the time that behaviour happened? What information was going into the dog or had been going into the dog up till that time of the behaviour occurring, okay? So what contributed to the state of emotion that the dog was feeling at the time they did their behaviour? So this could be things that they picked up with their VNO, so emotional frequency, behaviour, emotional frequency, feelings, all different things in their environment that would have gone in through either their VNO, what they've picked up heart to heart on us. Could be something to do with what's happening around them at the time, other dogs, other animals, so many different things that you'll learn in Canine Flow that influence how the dog feels at the time a behaviour occurs. So we will be looking at how does the dog feel then, and can we do anything to transform those emotions? What is contributing, and what could we change or limit or make different? We will also then look at why is the dog expressing that feeling in the way that it's doing? Why is it not doing it in the way that a canid animal would normally do it? So we would allow the dog to express in the safe ways that dogs do. So what we're then doing is saying, okay, how's the flow coming in? What's happening there? And how's the flow leaving? So what we do is we encourage a flow of emotion in the dog, because behaviours come when the emotion is stuck, when the dog cannot express itself. It gets like a charge, almost a charge of emotion, because an emotion is an energy. I mean, it has a hormone, okay? Most emotions have a hormone, which is like its molecular physical counterpart, but it also has a resonance. Okay, so, and this is all proven, this is all stuff we can measure. I'm not talking about anything esoteric or anything psychic at all. This is all resonant measurement stuff that has been measured by people like the Institute of Heart Math, for instance. So we will look at why that charge is there to the point where the dog then has to release it into a behaviour that we would see as fearful. So you've got to remember, things like aggression, we see it as fearful. This is why we want to stop this. Nature just takes its course, and the dog is part of nature, being an animal that is living in the heart, not the mind. So what we would always say, and one of our top sayings, if you like, in Canine Flow is, the dog is never trying to be in charge, it always simply has a charge. So we will look at, to put it in really basic terms, what's charging the dog up, what charge they've got, and how can we get them to release that charge safely in a canid fashion. So it may be simply sniffing more. Sounds crazy, but actually this area of the dog is hugely beneficial for them to ground emotional energy, and 9 times out of 10 we limit that. We do. We're in a hurry when we're walking them, that they're not going to new and unusual places. You know, we're pulling them away from things that when they're trying to process information. So, you know, even simple things like that can make a huge difference. But there are way more things we have that allow them to ground, and there's way more things we have to look at what's going in. And also ways to help them release. If they cannot, they really cannot, for whatever practical reason, whatever experience and environment they're in at the time, if they cannot find ways to safely express themselves, we have ways to work with the dog's cellular body, cellular frequencies, to release this trauma that's happened for them, to release the charge that's stuck in them. So I hope that gives you a bit more of an idea, and if you want to know any more about Canine Flow and why we do what we do and why it works, because seriously, this works. You know, I've been doing this work for over 10 years, I've shaped and moulded it to how it needs to be to make the transformations that it can make. And the other beauty of it is it gives you a way to work with the owner, so you're not just working with the dog, you've got fantastic ways to work with the owner as well. And it helps them to be more successful. It helps them to transform stuff in their lives as well. When you deal with emotional energy, you're not just dealing with the dog, you're dealing with everyone around the dog, and in particular the person that is mostly, you know, caring for, looking after the dog. So I really can't wait to hear from you. Head to our website, which is just canineflow.com. There's webinars, information on retreats, courses, that kind of thing, that you can bring your dog to and learn about this new way of completely transforming your dog's behaviour and your own lives for the better too. Thank you for watching today.